Devin Haney. We're talking about talking, right? And Devin Haney's doing plenty of it. So he said that he's eyeing Ryan Garcia. He's open to Mikey Garcia and Broner at 140 pounds. So that's 3 different call outs. Right there. So I think you may have some thoughts about this whole thing about Devin Haney and who he's calling out and who he might not be mentioning. What's your take on that?
Look, first of all, I like Devin Haney, right? And I'm not pandering now, okay? And for you casuals out there that like to go in the comments, and we'll get into this later, and think you know what you're talking about.
Right.
I actually work in the business, and I know these people that we talk about. I know all of them. I know every single one of them. And I know them personally. And so I like Devin. I like his dad, Bill. I understand the mindset. I understand what he's trying to do. But I also think that when you sit around in quarantine for a month and there's no plan as to what you're going to be doing down the road and who you could be fighting, and you see all these other guys competing to make these big fights, you just want to get in on the action. So it's almost like a Royal Rumble? Yeah. Right? You got Gervonta calling out Garcia calling out Gervonta. Then you have now Devin saying he'll fight Garcia, or he'll fight Broner at 140, which I don't even know where that came from, right? That's just Broner hasn't fought since Pacquiao beat him, okay? And now you're talking about fighting him at 140. Why don't you fight somebody at 135 that we actually know first? Then we can talk about you fighting some names at 140, former world champions. You know, why don't you fight one of the world champions? Oh, the answer is going to be, well, I'm down for it. I'm ready to fight. We'll make the fights, right? And every time these conversations come about, I think sometimes guys are a lot bigger when they know that from a promotional standpoint, some of these fights aren't going to get made. And I think that if one of the fights, I do believe a Haney-Garcia fight has an easier time being made just because it's all in the family with Matchroom, DAZN, and Golden Boy. Yeah. So
Ryan Garcia. You're talking about Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia.
Because he
okay. Well, I mean, Mikey Garcia also with his working relationship, I guess, with Matchroom. But let's stick to 135. Let's fight somebody that we can then say, there's your victory, Devin. There's the victory where you can go do the lap and hold the belt and say that you beat somebody. Yeah. Because you tell me, Brian, who's Devin Haney beating? Hey, listen, I manage Emmanuel Tago. Yeah. Okay. And let me tell you something. Tago's ready to give him that work. Yeah. Right now. And look, I don't know if listen. Bill Haney text messaged me months ago saying, "Hey, how about Tago against Devin for the WBC title?" I said, "Great." Except, it was for the November 9th show, but it was only 3.5 weeks notice. Right. I'm like, nah, you know what? First of all, let's get him. We'll get Tago in camp. We'll do a full camp, and then we're happy to beat Devin Haney. So I'm just giving you an example that a lot of guys are sitting around and they're just talking and they're calling people up because they want to stay relevant and they don't know what else to do, because normally they get up, they do their road work, they come back, they go to the gym, they train, they do some interviews, they have a goal, they have a date. Right now they have nothing. So the best thing they can do is go on social media and call each other out.
Yeah. And to be honest, thank God for that, because if they weren't, I don't know what people would be talking about and covering. But I totally agree. Devin Haney's 21 years old. He hasn't beaten anybody. If you can argue which is his best win, a victory over Juan Carlos Burgos, which is not the same guy anymore, or Antonio Moran. Either of those wins or anything that are going to super impress anybody. As I said, he's only 21. I do think that the Ryan Garcia call out makes perfect sense. They're both around the same age bracket. They both have about the same level of experience. Neither of them have this signature victory on their record yet. Right. But I think that he's overstepping his bounds a bit, calling out Mikey. And to be totally honest, I can't even believe I'm about to say this. He's even overstepping his bounds, calling out Broner. Right. Because Broner has accomplished far more than he has. Broner has fought far better fighters than he has. And then, as you mentioned, it's also one of those things where you're on the other side of the promotional bracket, the other side of the promotional landscape, you know the chances of you fighting Broner, it's not impossible, but yeah, it's probably, it's not likely to happen. But here is the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
If Broner is going to take a fight against someone across from another promotion, Devin Haney might be the kind of guy he'd fight, smaller, coming up in weight, to fight him. That would be the type of fight I would think that Broner might be interested in. If he was going to do something like that, it'd be a great name for Broner to fight if he could beat him, that kind of re-inject some light, because Broner needs that. Broner can, I know he draws because he is a controversial character, and you either love him or you hate him. It's kind of that sort of thing. But I don't know that he can survive another loss and continue to be taken seriously, especially to a kid who's 21, 22 years old, who came up from 135. Right.
Agreed. But I got to tell you this. I think Adrien Broner on his game right now defeats Devin Haney. I wouldn't say that's crazy. I wouldn't say that's crazy at all. He's bigger, experience. It's everything. Yeah. It's the experience. He's bigger. And I think Devin Haney hasn't had that step up fight where he can say, okay, I just beat a guy that now puts me in that conversation. But let's just stay focused and look at the actual landscape. So the WBC, I guess, mandated that Luke Campbell and Fortuna have to fight.
Javier Fortuna, yeah.
Right, have to fight. Mm-hmm. If Campbell wins that fight, I mean, he's with Matchroom. Haney's with Matchroom. This is an easy fight to make.
Yeah.
But Devin Haney needs somebody in the meantime.
Yeah.
And
he wants a bigger name than that.
Yeah, he's tired of walking the red carpet and getting interviewed while these YouTubers fight. Okay? Yeah. He wants to be the headline in a world championship fight against a legitimate opponent.
So you mean he doesn't want to be the guest analyst on another Logan Paul fight? He doesn't want to do that?
Exactly. Okay? And I'm just going to say it. At Miami Fight Night, I was in the VIP lounge area, and I'm hanging over the balcony with Bill, his dad, and we're talking. He goes, "What do you think of these YouTubers?" Yeah. And I looked at him and I said, "They got a lot of followers. Probably brings a lot of subscribers to the zone." Yeah. And he said, because look, they're using those shows as a way to help build Devin's profile to a younger audience.
They are, yeah.
Which is not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
But he wants to be known as the guy in the ring who's beating people that are credible. Listen, he's only 21. I don't doubt that he has a big career ahead of him. Yeah. I mean, he's a talented kid. I mean, he's got all the tools, right? All the tools. But for what we're talking about right now, it's like, it reminds me of, you remember the movie Colors, right? We've talked about this before. When Robert Duvall and Sean Penn are sitting there and he talks about the Papa Bowl and the Baby Bowl. And I think right now what Devin Haney needs to do is, one at a time. One at a time. Okay. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go find that clip on YouTube. We'll leave it in the description because it's a good story. Okay. Yeah. And right now I think that the Baby Bull needs to take his time and fight Emmanuel Tega. Yeah. And you get past Game Boy. Well, then it'll be right in time for you to fight the winner of Fortuna Campbell. Right. Then you start putting your name where you want it. Right. Exactly. I mean, I think it's perfect advice. And I think it's also good for the game, good for the sport, because Devin Haney is only 21 years old, and it's not time to see him in a fight against somebody who he's potentially over his head against. Right. And because that doesn't work well for the future. I mean, I like the Ryan Garcia fight, but I just don't think I like that. I like all right. I think it's too early for that, because that could be a huge fight. Yeah, that could be. It will be a huge fight. I think they'll get there one day. Yeah, but not now. Right. Not right now.